Hello everyone, and today something unspectacular. The way from Meduli to Vadda, the fastest way from Meduli to Vadda, and there's, if I be honest, there's just one efficient way and a few other ways. So first off, the yellow path, or the normal path, that is not the path we took. We took the other path. Wait a second, I will draw it. Yeah, we first go to the hill, up the hill, and then I will show you a round view, or the view where you see Meduli and Vadda. But of course you can use also the direct way, no problem there. But a lot of people will use the way for trading, and because of the steel production you need Sabura powder, so they will transport Sabura powder from Meduli, or maybe Granum and Kalks from Vadda. And yeah, the direct route, the red route, is maybe the most dangerous route. Later, when the game is released and we have a decent population, this will be a little bit dangerous. You could also take some other routes, for example, Mortal on L1, there was a backdrop in Vadda where you can enter there. Currently not really, but you can also take the route down, maybe. But currently there's no problem there, so we are just running the yellow route, the second yellow route. And here's the roundhouse kick of Meduli, I mean the roundhouse view of Meduli. Oh man, I love this city. In Mortal on L1 I didn't like it so much, I lived here a few months. But I didn't like it because it was basically mounted online only. Because if you live in Meduli, you will always get zerged by mounted people, and a lot of mounted people actually. Because yeah, the area is very good for that. And yeah, you will always have a problem in Meduli with the mounted people. I mean, if you are mounted yourself, it's not so much of a problem. But if you are a normal foot fighter, or I don't know, someone who can't get on a mount, or can't fight proper on a mount, or don't have the money and the equipment to fight on a mount, then you will have a really hard time living here. But there are also some benefits. But no, I will not include any images from bots here. And the main benefits are you have a lot of Sabura, which is obviously pro. And because you have so much Sabura, you have a lot of Jadeite, and Jadeite is more or less the middleman, how should I call it? The middle class Chronite. Because it's very light, it's very cheap, and it's actually very good as a slashing weapon, for example, for a sword or something like that. I mean, the damage difference between a steel sword and a Jadeite sword are in the base damage, I think 2 to 4 points or something like that. Sure, depending on your crafting skill and so on. But Jadeite is a very, very good baseline for weapons. And yeah, you have the Sabura anyway, so Jadeite is more or less the side product. You also have your cuprum and your messing, and the messing is very good for mounted weapons, for example, for dismounting weapons with high blunt damage. Then messing is better. Sure, depending on your strength again, because yeah, if you have a weapon in your hand on a mount, your strength requirement gets doubled, because it's a two-hand weapon and you hold it with one hand. And yeah, you need a lot of strength to have some kind of weapons or some special materials on the mount. And a good mounted counter, for example, would be, of course, other mounted, yeah, no shit Sherlock. But also an archer. I mean, if you're a skilled archer, for example, and you can hit the head of the horse, okay, to be realistic, you don't hit the head of the horse, but it's just in theory, okay? Okay, wait a second, we will continue this soon. First, here is Meduli, and here is the way along this path between the two mountains. And then you're running directly more to the east, and in the east there is this forest, and there is Vadda. The forest seems small, but it's actually a lot bigger than you think. That's what she said. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, the mounted combat. A good counter for mounted combat is the archer, because the archer can damage the horse, and if the horse is under half-life, for example, yeah, we're all waiting for Half-Life 3, but we all know this is not gonna happen. But if the horse has lost half of the hit points, then most mounted combat fighters turn around and heal up their horse with potions, with the veterinary skill. It just depends on who is the mounted combat guy. Maybe some mounted combats will also have the healing ability. Then you're pretty fucked, because right now you can heal your horse while you're sitting on it as a mage, for example. So yeah, just in conclusion, The Meduli area is sometimes even some toxic depending on the guild who owns it. But it's a very, very good and rich trading city because of the Zabura and of course of the Jedi and some other stuff. But mostly about the Zabura and the Seedew and the potions, because out of Seedew you make at the Herbologium table Seedew leaves, and out of the Seedew leaves you can make pretty decent potions. I mean, that are not the best potions, and there are still some multipliers missing and some other stuff, but at least they are decent potions and they are worth to trade. Or, for example, just the Seedew is also worth to trade. And the boar, of course, because it's a catalyst. But the one thing that is missing Meduli pretty hard is the calcs. And yeah, that is the thing with nearly every city in Mortal. You have not all resources, of course, but you need to trade between cities a lot, actually. To have viable products in the end, and that is pretty awesome, and that's why traveling routes like this, for example, the direct route, will be with a high population visited pretty often and even sometimes camped. I mean, if some people going on the PvP roam, some of them are casually making a PvE, for example, or just transporting some stuff themselves. Not every time. But if they are on the PvP roam, they will take places where the trading routes of many cities meet. And that is where you must look all the trading routes, for example, and just use the Mortal Online map. For example, draw the lines where the most efficient route in terms of time consuming, in terms of time, where's the most efficient route from point A to point B. And draw all the lines on the map. Maybe I will make a video about it, I don't know. And then look at this, and then also maybe implement some alternative ways for alternative transporting. For example, not the most efficient way, but maybe some other way that is not so extreme time consuming, but also considered a safe way, for example. And also mark that lines, and then you can see where the most PvP roaming people will be. Of course, if they are just PvP hungry, they will camp in front of Fabanum or maybe a Tindrum and Bhakti or something like that. So if you're, for example, a trader like me or a crafter like me, and I'm always, really always, just bought my steel and my tungsteel and don't produce it myself. And sure, for example, it was a little bit more expensive to get it transported to Tindrum and something like that. But that is something that I will just add on my price tag for the items I craft. And then you would say my stuff is more expensive than from the other people, but that is not the case, because the other people also have to transport the stuff to the town. And even if they transport it themselves, there is also time that goes into, and they also want the time to be rewarded. That's why the price will not decrease or even increase, for example. And here I got killed by 3 wolves. But in the end, what I'm trying to say is the prices at some cities for some resources will always be, after some time, of course, the same. Because you will have, after years, you will have a level where, okay, I don't pay so much for this, or no, I only sell it for that, and yet the market will regulate itself. And my game crashed a few times in this forest, and I don't know why, but you just need to go to the east to get to Vadda, where people will import Zabura powder, Jadeite of course, and some potions, and the other way around, stuff from there will get exported. For example, the granum, the calx, and some other stuff will also be exported from Fabanum to Meduli, of course. Trading routes, transportation and stuff is pretty important in Mortal. So if the main ruling guild of the world have transport services or something like that, because they can safer transport stuff and something like that, then sure, all the prices will drop in the cities. But if more and more transports get attacked, then the prices will go up for everyone, of course. So in the end, it just depends on what route you choose to transport your stuff. If you transport stuff anyway, or if you leave the transport to the PvP pros that just want to earn a little bit more money. But no, anyway, this was the way from Meduli to Vadda. So if you have any feedback, questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I love that. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters Mohikaani, Dexter and Skiba. Please also leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And please also ring the bell that you don't miss any future videos. Party hard and goodbye.